Behind the Beard by Aaron the Mastermind.
Yo, what they do. I am your host, Aaron J. Jackson, and you're tuning in to episode 13 of Behind the Beard. And we have a special guest. She goes by the name of Dana Goldstein. For the people that don't know who you are, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Dana. I moved here about 7 years ago from New York City, even though that's not originally where I was from. I've just kind of moved around my whole life. But I've been here for about 7 years and I really love it. I've just been kicking it and meeting some awesome new people and making a lot of fresh work.
Mm-hmm. So, how was your upbringing growing up in New York? And I remember looking at you from also Kentucky as well.
Well, Kentucky was a little bit harder because my parents are from New York. So we were just a little bit louder. We were a little bit different, me and my sister, from everyone. But when I was young, I fell into the hardcore punk and graffiti scene, so it kind of saved me from being a typical Midwesterner, I guess you'd say.
Yeah. So how did you get into photography, and who were your influences?
My dad, when I was about 13 years old, he gave me his camera, and then shortly after that, he set up a darkroom in my basement. So photography for me was exploring. I was very quiet. I was really shy, and it really helped me open up and meet a whole different world.
Mm-hmm. And who were your influences while you was discovering photography?
When I was younger, definitely probably Larry Clark and Glennie Friedman. I also really liked Annie Leibovitz and Martha Cooper.
Wow, Larry Clark is. I feel we know his past, and when I say past, is his work. His work is very amazing, but I feel like he don't get enough credit for some reason.
Yeah, around that time that I was discovering photography, that's when Kids came out. So it was a really big time for skate culture because everyone was so shocked by this film.
Yeah, how I really got into Larry Clark, even though Kids, I thought when I was learning about photography at the time, I thought he actually directed the movie.
Yeah, that was Harmony Korine.
Yeah. So, but I was actually in Atlanta one time. It was 2017, and I saw Tulsa.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I actually got the book, and that's how I got into Larry Clark. And then that's why I'm damn, Larry Clark. That name sounds so familiar. And I'm oh shit, he did a DP for Kids.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I love Larry Clark. So I'm actually glad that you actually say Larry Clark, because not too many people, don't really know who he is and stuff like that, and he don't get his, credit.
Yeah, exactly.
So how long you been shooting for? You said you've
13,
been doing,
so 21 years.
Wow.
It's the only thing I know how to do at this point.
Yeah, and it's, damn, that's that's a long time, man. And I've been doing it for 7 years, so you've been in the game for. So you were kind of seeing it transition, the game from film into the digital world in a sense.
Yeah, no, exactly. The last year that I was in college was the last year that they taught film photography.
Wow.
So literally my schooling was a little bit dated because I was on that cusp of film and digital.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Around that time, I feel a lot of photographers at that time, they didn't give credit to digital at that time. They was man, fuck digital, this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
I would look up different books, and they'll talk about we didn't really like digital. It took us a very long time to get into the digital world because film is, the process, they like that old school vibe.
Yeah, that's basically how I still feel.
Yeah. Me too. It's that excitement for film that it's just the go in the dark room and develop the prints and stuff like that.
Well, I feel it gives it artistic merit, you see all these photographers selling photographs for thousands of dollars. Would you pay that same amount for a digital photograph, or do you are you paying for the process?
Yeah. So I've done my research on you, and I saw you went to SCAD. How was that experience and what did you major in?
Well, I majored in photography, and I was trying to minor in fashion, but SCAD was weird because it's located in Savannah, Georgia. Mm-hmm. So around that time, I was also interning in New York.
Yeah.
And in New York and Brooklyn at that time, nudes were just huge, especially in the environment. So a lot of my photographs were of people, many of them were nude, and then I would come back after my internship and they would tell me and critique like, oh, your work is bad, like it's not good. But like at the same time, Dazed and Confused and ID magazine would be publishing my work and exhibiting it overseas. So it was like, I mainly did art school for my mom. Like she really wanted me to have a bachelor's degree. But I kind of think art school was like kind of a waste. Like I wish I went to school for like business or something. You know?
I agree, because why are you going to critique an artist? That don't make sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Plus you can't teach creativity or passion. You know what I'm saying?
They kind of like put you in a box. Like, no, you have to look like this.
Exactly.
Like, how the fuck he got like that and nobody really like critiqued his work? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that shit don't add up. That shit don't add up at all. And that's why with school, I'll just be like, you know, shout out to people that do go to art school and stuff like that to get like the fundamentals. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, learn how to use Photoshop, learn how to use Premiere, like learn how to like, you know, market yourself or like advertise yourself, but you can't teach creativity.
Exactly.
You know?
And you gotta have like I'm glad you pointing that out, because you gotta have the business side of things to market yourself, of course.
Exactly.
Going to like in these magazines and do editorial work, because if you're doing the invoice, you gotta know what you charging and shit like that.
Exactly.
Why do you? I know you mentioned, you know, about film. I know why you like the film, but why film over digital? Like, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think mostly because I own a digital camera. I've used digital, but I've never seen the results like matched. You know, I did a gig for like Vogue and The Standard a little while back, and I shot film and I shot digital, and they sent me an email back and they're like, how did you do the treatment of this one, but we want this picture? And I was like, you know, one was digital, one was film. They were choosing the film treatment over the digital because it just looks like aesthetically better.
Damn, that's crazy. And around what time was that?
The Standard gig?
Yeah.
That was like maybe like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, that's crazy. So around that time, people was really kind of. I feel like around that time, even though you started shooting film for a very long time, I feel like around that period, everybody started shooting film around that time.
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I'm saying? People started to appreciate that. How do you feel about that? Like, people that just shooting film and they just doing it as a fad. Like, I feel like a lot of people just do it for a fad.
Well,
not everybody, but
it depends. Like, I love the film revival going on right now because, you know, without that, film prices would be spiked. You know, just like the same as they're bringing back Polaroid. But there's some people I know that are just shooting just for like an image or like to get girls or to lurk on girls. You know, like, I guess like do your thing, but that's also like washing out the people who really like know photography and like master photography. You know, but I think like overall I think Instagram just kind of killed like the photography market.
So what brought you to Miami?
Basically I visited my grandmother and I never left. Like, I love the weather. Like, you couldn't really pay me to live in New York. Like, there's just something amazing about being able to go to the beach if you want to every day, or just like have a juice. Like, I feel like the quality of my life is like a lot better in Miami than it was in New York.
Man, that's what's up. I'm from the crib, so I love, you know, get everybody to come through to see the, you know, more people the better. That's just how I see it. You know, I ain't gonna lie, like, you kind of remind me of Annie Leibovitz. I know that's one of your inspirations and stuff like that, but
thank you.
Believe it or not, when I look at your work, it brings like a uniqueness. Like, you know, I feel like when I see your photos, I feel like I'm there. Like, I feel like, damn, I'm in the concert, like a punk concert, and I feel like, damn, I feel like hitting somebody right there. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what I get from your work. To shift gears, what's your favorite film to shoot on?
My favorite was Kodak NC. Now, basically, just because like I'm in Miami and I don't have access to it, I'll basically shoot on anything. but I do prefer to use Kodak because I find that they're warmer tones than like Fujifilm.
Yeah, because Fuji got more of like a cool tone.
Yeah, like it's more of a green and cyan you'll see in the shadows, and then Kodak is more of like a yellow red.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's just better. I find the Kodak is better for skin tones.
Yeah. Let's see. When did you decide that you wanted to take photography to the next level? Like, as in, like, really trying to get paid for it?
I mean, basically, almost didn't pass like high school. Like I just wasn't like the student classroom type. So I think when I went to like art school, like I just knew that that was probably what I was going to be doing for the rest of my life. But like at the same time, I've never been like, I would say I was never super money driven until like maybe within the past 2 years.
Okay. Wow. And that kind of separates you from, I'm glad you say that, because sometimes it's not really all about the money.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like 34, so that means like basically like 32, like I didn't care. But now I'm just more like, oh, I'm 34, like I feel like I should be, you know, paid for my work.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you care more about the artistry than the money, and that's very important. A lot of people nowadays in the society we live in now is money driven, which ain't nothing wrong with that, but I just feel like a lot of people, they don't really care about the artistry.
Yeah, and then you lose your like artistic value, and then you just have like horrible like advertising.
Yeah.
Or just completely commercial, which is okay if that's what you want, but that's not really like my crowd.
And with the artistry, like I feel like it all falls back into Instagram, like social media. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, which ain't nothing wrong with it, because you can get inspired by anything. I feel like Instagram, it's like a pro and con. You could get inspired by it, by certain individuals, but at the same time, it's like a downfall too.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, when I was in New York, you used to have to like send your work out to all the editors, like reach out all to the editors for work. Like now, like they know exactly what they're looking for. They just shop off of Instagram.
Yeah, man. So let's talk about Zine. How did that get created?
I mean, Zine, it started kind of as a joke. It was like a group chat. And then I just like, I wanted to take it to the next level because I feel like Miami is lacking like that group culture, you know, when I was in New York, there was like definitely like a community of artists, and I feel like everyone's kind of like in their own separate world. So like the purpose of Zine is for community. Like we're an inclusive magazine, and you know, we want to let people know what's going on in the community.
Yeah, that's what's up. Like when you had the pop up at Lower East Coast. I remember I went and seen them, like how the way you interviewed Mr. Bakerman.
Oh yeah, he's the shit.
Yeah, I follow him on Instagram. I'm like, damn, like that boy, wow. Scraping all of the streets of New York, and
no, I know he likes your work too.
Oh wow, that's crazy. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Shout out to Mr. Bakerman. I fuck with you.
Yeah,
man.
Shout out to Bakerman.
And I believe you interviewed A.O.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and that's very big, because I love hearing his interviews and seeing his interviews, because he's from Miami. So
definitely,
for you to get interview out of him, that's like, for Miami, that's like A1. Just seeing him on the different walls of Miami, and going to Brazil for a rider, like you know what I'm saying. And one of my favorite pictures of your work was actually from Ryder. The campaign.
Oh really?
The one in the boxing ring.
Oh really?
I love that. It's just like a grunge look. It's like your style.
Yeah.
It leads me to ask you this: how would you describe your style of your work?
Well, I mean, more than anything, I really strive for my work to be organic. I would say like that's the main adjective. I don't like my subjects to look uncomfortable or like, you know, just unnatural. So I kind of bring my composition in with like a color balance and the subject. So mostly like organic.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up composition. because I run into a few photographers and they don't understand it, and that's very key. Composition
Yeah.
is one of the very key things that it kind of defines a story. Composition.
Exactly. Like, I feel like, not like it shows you have respect for the image, but like you didn't just like look through the camera and just like snap it. It's like more than just being there,
Yeah, like, and you have very great composition, because when I look at your photos, I really feel like your photos in 20 years, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna like damn. Because you look at photographers from like the 80s that took pictures of Kurt Cobain and Nirvana, like different bands like Black Flag and stuff like that, and you just like, damn, it makes you feel like you're in that moment.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I'm saying? And just even like other things like behind the scenes, like Annie Leibovitz, back to her, like she'll go, like in her earlier work, she was mostly
when she was like following the Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones, yes, and going to behind the scenes, and you know what though, like nowadays you don't really get too many photographers that have that follow like artists anymore like that. Yeah, they have their personal photographer, but it's not the same as like how they did back in the day.
I feel like the one person like doing that right now, I never met her, but I do have like a lot of respect for her, like Petra Collins. I feel like she's like, oh yeah, no, you should check her out. Like she's kind of like the young Annie Leibovitz of today, where she's just real young and she's just following around all these artists and stuff.
Yeah, cause when I go to Books and Books on South Beach, and I just look at.
Yeah, that's more old school.
Yeah. It's more like a chill vibe to it, like a little like old school library. But when I look at older photographers' work, I just like wish that we could kind of do that now, especially film.
Yeah.
Film, like get that like that old school vibe too, but more of a modern vibe. I feel like it's coming along, more that we speak on it. How did you get started with working with Vice?
I think with Vice, I was just in the right place at the right time. Yeah. I was interning for like a really big fashion and street photographer in New York City when I first moved there. Mm-hmm. So like there was a lot of eyes on me, and I just think they saw like the raw talent and they like the crowds I was kind of mingling with, and they really like took me under for a few years.
Yeah, like when I was researching your work. In the past, I saw you have like a few covers.
Yeah, they gave me 2 covers in 1 year. There was like, I had like a collection of Vices where I was just like, I don't know. They were like my best friends for a while.
How did that feel? Because not too many people have that under their belt.
It was cool because it was like that time period. It was still like that magical time of like film and skateboarding and punk rock culture. So it really has like carried me today.
Yeah. That's crazy because Vice, I used to work for American Apparel back in the day. And And you used to get the free the free articles and stuff. So that's how I really got into Vice. And just, when I was looking at your work, I was just, damn, that's amazing that, you have a lot of accolades. I could just tell you that right now. And I was just looking at, I'm like, damn, she done this, that, and the third. And not too many people have that. And I'm glad that you do, and I wish you the best in the future.
Thank you so much.
For real. But which are the pictures that you mostly like proud of that you ever taken?
I think my most proud picture I've ever taken, it's called Greedy. Mm-hmm. It's a speedboat with 2 girls in a bikini, and everyone says it's DJ Laz, but I don't think it's DJ Laz, like on a boat. So it's like the boat is named Greedy, and this guy's just like standing there with 2 girls, and I feel like it just completely encaptures like the spirit of Miami. So, yeah, I think at some point like Andrew downtown is gonna put on like a skateboard or a shirt. So
yeah, damn, that was up. We got the exclusive. You don't know this. I think you do, but I have some of your prints. I have Latrina. I have Ball Greasy.
Oh, my favorite.
And then I have one that you're actually holding a cat. No, not you. The dude, he's tied it up, and then he's holding the cat.
Oh yeah.
And I actually got into your work by Sally.
Oh wow, yeah.
She it was the Zine fair in the South Zine Fair in Kendall, no, the West Kendall Zine Fair. You wasn't there, but Sally was selling your prints with hers. I don't know if you remember. And then she was just like, she don't remember, guys.
Oh, like my face. I'm like, no, I'm just kidding.
Nah, but I saw Trina, and I'm from Miami, so this seems Trina Ball Greasy. I'm like, dog, who is this? I need this print right now.
And then you find out it's like a little white girl. You're like, what the hell?
Oh, nah, not even. Just more like, damn, she captured that essence, and not too many people can capture them in that moment.
Yeah.
And especially film. Like,
exactly.
Most people, they just think of, when they get their pictures taken, it's more like a whole setup and everything like that.
Well, the camera can be, a weapon depending on how you use it, and that's something I've really honed over the years, how to make the camera as least scary and intimidating as possible.
Yeah, you kind of with those pictures, the most of your portraits, that flash, it's just something about that flash that just gets the subject, and I love. What are your top 3 favorite places that you love to photograph at? It could be anywhere, the States, overseas.
I love Malibu.
Oh
I
my
think
God.
it's
I'm about to take my microphone off.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably one of the prettiest places I've ever
Malibu.
been. And I love the Venetian pool. That's probably my favorite spot in Miami. And then anywhere, I want to photograph the rainforest or something really out there. So I'll leave the third one empty.
Yeah, Malibu. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
I want to live in Malibu. That's
Yeah.
When I was in the West Coast last year, I was in Venice, and then you see when you look to your right, the whole Malibu. You can see Malibu from the distance, and I was just like, dog, I have to go. The way the views is. Miles Davis used to live over there.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I just I don't know if his house is still there. I don't know if they rebuilt over it, but I look at old YouTube videos of his house. You just see the ocean view on the hills.
Ocean is so blue, and there's seals. We were just last time I was there, we were just literally hanging out, baking with the seals.
Wow, that's crazy. When was the last time you went to the West Coast?
Last summer.
Last summer, how was it? We already know Malibu. You said Malibu, so you already know. I know you love Cali.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. I was out there for a month and a half of trimming.
Wow.
So
wow,
yeah.
That's a long time. Well, we towards the end, but I got one more question for you. For anybody that's want to do what you do, do you have any advice for them to take it to the next level, or to just get their feet wet and starting?
I would say don't compare yourself to others. I used to do that when I was a lot younger, and it's pretty detrimental. I think that it's really important to just focus on yourself and your craft and the genuine factor of your work, because people can see through it now.
Yeah.
So if you're doing it truly for yourself, I think you'll shine.
Yeah, that's what's up. I agree 100%. Where can people reach you at?
You can just hit me up on Instagram, Dana Goldstein, or that's my website, or feel free to hit me up whenever. All
right. Episode 13. I'm very happy that you came through. We at the Oswald Clubhouse. Shout out to my dog Will. Shout out to Dylan. You know what I'm saying? A little spot in the city where I'm from, Liberty City. You feel me? Hey, if you can't see this, Liberty City on that, we got y'all. You feel me? Yeah, man. I'm very happy with this interview. I've been actually wanting this interview for a very long time, and it's finally here. You can follow us on Fuck Going Out on all social media platforms. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, everywhere by Aaron J. Jackson, BYAARON JACKSON. I know it's long, but fuck it. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Fuck Going Out, and that'll be all. Next episode, we out.